बेटा
जय श्रीमान।
जय हिंद।
समान गार्ड आपके निरीक्षण के लिए हाजिर श्रीमान। जय श्रीमान।
जय हिंद।
जय श्रीमान। निरीक्षण समाप्त हो श्रीमान। जय श्रीमान।
प्रार्थना के लिए सभी तैयार हैं, आंखें बंद कर लें।
पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते
सभी छात्रों से अनुरोध है कि वे अपने अपने स्थान पर बैठ जाएं। अब मैं प्राचार्य महोदय से अनुरोध करता हूं कि वे अपने आशीर्वचनों से हमें हितार्थ करें। श्री प्राचार्य महोदय।
Jai Hind, children. A bit loudly, my dear. Very good. And all those who are standing, wherever you are, you can just have a place. Sit down. Sit down, wherever you are. Feel comfortable. These months that we are passing through, rainy season and all, these are always tough for us. Wind blow is less, and then we find suffocation around. Welcome you all. 26th of July is a day we say victorious day for us. Kargil war was fought, And we all have gathered today here to commemorate that victory of India over Pakistan, or the Kargil, the area that sometimes they captured for a short while we got it back. It's a day we pay our tribute to all those soldiers, those who fought in this war and laid their lives, made supreme sacrifices for the sake of this nation. When we all have gathered, we have with us Sri Rajesh Kedia, the chairman of the school, and Sri Santlal Agarwal ji, vice principal, all teachers and students. Kindly join me in welcoming them. I now request vice principal to present bouquet to chairman Sri Rajesh Kedia ji as a formal welcome. I now request vice principal to present a bouquet to Sri Santlal Agarwal. You can join me. Thank you. I'll just share some of the moments of 26th of July 1999 it was. And if we look back at the human society, human beings have always been fighting for domination over others or others' lands and all that. It has always been there. That is why once we look at the history, we always have been talking about that the society is for the fittest people, or the fittest will survive. That has always been a dictum of the past. Particularly those old civilizations, Roman and Greek, when we look at, there has been such kind of traditions. If somebody has been unfortunately born incapable in some way, physical incapabilities, they were abandoned by the family, by the society. And only one reason was there. It was a well-known fact that once they grow up, they will not be able to fight for the society that they live in, or for the tribe that they are a part of, or for the family that they are a part of. They were put into the baskets or pots and into the rivers. They will float somewhere. Nobody was there to care for them. It has been good for the human beings that the compassion, the kindness, that sometimes prevailed over the situation, and we started caring for them. This is the best moment for every one of us, that we care for everyone. Mortality rate has gone down. Even if one is some way incapable in one or the other way, we care for him as good as we care for somebody else. Even schools also, just inclusive education has become a part of life now. Otherwise, there was some incapable, maybe like a blind, or maybe some kind of other illness one suffers from. He was put into a different kind of school. But the now society has taken into account that no, they are a part of the normal human beings or normal society, and they should be always treated accordingly. And this has borne fruit also for us. Anyhow, now 1999, once we talk of and we remember that Kargil war, we fought 3 wars before that, and one that we separated from Pakistan, or Pakistan was separated from us. That war also. That was a long war. 47 and it continued till 48. 47 we got independence. Pakistan and India, they became different territories, and we continued fighting. A lot of human lives were lost in that 47 and 48. Plenty of, numerous, I should say. They were not even accounted for. To that extent it has gone. 62 we had a scuffle with China. where sometimes it was a very tough time for us. We have been advocates of peace, in fact, that soft state, that we don't want to fight and we like to have. We understood that statement, that peace and progress, they move together. That is how sometimes we did not amass any kind of fighting armament or instruments for us. Once we look into how that humiliating defeat we had with China once this war was fought, it was only one thing, that we did not have fighting instruments. We Indians are as brave as anybody on this earth, and we could fight anybody, provided we have those kind of infrastructure and armaments with us. I remember, like during 1962, when this war was fought, we used passenger aircraft for dropping bombs. Passenger, Dakota. These aircrafts, which are like generally used for carrying human beings or goods from one, supplies were being carried in them, we used them. So that itself is an answer why we got a defeat at the hands of China. China has been a great power right from the beginning. You cannot take it lightly. Even now also, we cannot take it lightly. But then, at the same time, the bravery of we people, Indians, that was same as we are today and as we are going to be tomorrow. We fought for the nation, but then we got a defeat. 1965, convincing victory we had. 1965, again we fought a war with Pakistan. 1971, again the same, like creation of Bangladesh. This has been in the history, that a nation has been created at the behest of one of the nations. We are part of that. Now 1999, it was not called as a full-fledged war. In fact, it was one part of the territory that was captured by Pakistan. We did not know about it. A long area of our land beyond LOC, towards this side, that was captured by Pakistanis. Civilians, they were also there. And then when we came to know through shepherds. And once we came to know, then of course we took to the action. Earlier the messages were that they are all infiltrators, freedom fighters for some of the areas, that POK and all that kind of excuse was taken by Pakistanis. But later on we came to know that it was Pakistani forces. They built their bunkers and they were there on that Kargil hill. Now if you know, Kargil hill is a very high mountain cliff. We were on the downside and they were on that other side, they were on those high mountains. 18,000 feet or so. And then they were otherwise prepared. They had their bunkers made, they were safely placed, having all fighting instruments equipped and waiting for Indians to come from the downside. Sooner they arrive, they will fire from that side. This was one advantage for them, that they were at a high altitude from us. There was another disadvantage for us. We had NDA government, Shri Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he was the Prime Minister. There was a word had with him from the Defense Forces side, that sometimes there are all likelihood that we could control LOC, line of actual control, LOC. And there were special directions for it, that LOC is not to be crossed. That means the war has to be fought with all those limitations. High altitude, another this limitation. And then we were not prepared also. We had to suddenly come into operation. We had those old aircrafts. That is why sometimes we go on talking, even to you also, equip yourself with the latest. We had MiG-21, very old aircraft. MiG-23, again old. MiG-27, that was latest. But then MiG series did not work at that particular high altitude. We had plenty of aircraft crashed at the initial stage. Sooner they went that side to attack, to destroy those bunkers which were occupied by those Pakistani forces. We had those aircrafts destroyed by them. And lastly, it was Mirage 2000 Mark 1, which was there at Gwalior. Just see, Gwalior it was stationed, and from there it was brought. And that Mirage worked. Mirage is equipped with laser-guided missiles and laser-guided rockets. And that worked. A precision of the rockets and missiles that worked. And then after long, of course it was May that we started fighting this war, and it was 26th of July that we had a victory over them. There was another gun, Howitzer gun, that we acquired from outside, and then of course one Prime Minister had to renounce his office because of this Howitzer gun. But it worked. It worked because it after firing, after each fire, maneuvering is within the limits. Like whenever we wanted, it could change its place. Displacement was very easy with this Howitzer gun. These worked. And then the brave soldiers, those who were behind this. We lost more than Pakistani soldiers, 527 exactly as the things appear. 527 soldiers were lost. And then if you look at from May to July, it's a long war. It's a long battle that was fought. Wars which were fought 62, 65, 71, they were only lasting for 10 to 15 days or something. And within that decision was taken. But then here it continued till 26th of July when we had that victory. And then there were other interventions from outside, of course. They were there. But one big thing, Paramveer Chakra winners, the people, those who fight for this country and those who lay their lives for the sake of this nation, that is the greatest thing. And that is how sometimes highest military decoration is given to those people, those brave souls, and in the presence of the enemy, brave souls. There were 4 of them. It's not that only 4, but then there is a big line. Paramveer Chakra winners, 4, they were there. And then we had Mahavir Chakra winners, Veer Chakra, Sena medals, and other distinctions which were given too. Likewise, everyone is accounted for, and we all have gathered today to pay our tributes to them. Not only these, but then other wars which were fought and those who made these supreme sacrifices. Before we go for another next step of the day's celebration, I'll just give you one small incident and name also. It's a day back, years back, a letter from Himachal Pradesh, one of the teachers wrote to Defense Ministry. And a request was made to the Defense Ministry that he had his one son who had heroic death during this Kargil war. I have a request, if I could, I'm an old man, if I could visit that particular site where my child was laid to rest, where he met his death. That heroic death, I just like to be a witness to it. Once this request was sent to Defense Ministry, one of the officers who received and opened and read this letter, he was overwhelmed with this request. And he immediately thought of, forget about Defense Ministry, sir. Even if it is up to me, I'll bear all the expenses and I'll take you. But then anyhow, this letter was placed before the Defense Ministry, and then request was immediately conceded. Arrangements were made. That couple, both mother and father, they were there at that particular spot where that soldier was laid to rest. While they visited that particular place, everybody, they were there. Sometimes it was possible for some of them, those who fought that war, to be there. They were also there. All other soldiers standing erect. Guard of honor was presented to this person, the father of one of the soldiers. When he was saluted, there was one person with flowers in both his hands standing at the end. And while this old man, he arrived, he put those flowers at the feet of this man and then bent himself, bowed himself, rubbed his eyes over the feet of this person. And then the father asked, my dear, everybody, you are a great officer, everybody saluted from that side. You could have saluted there. I would have saluted you back. What is the reason that you are standing up high? Now, just see the incident. He was a witness to that fight. He says, sir, I am a JCO. And I was a part of that fight which took place at the last, while your son died. We were 5 of us. We were hiding ourselves, taking a shelter behind one of the cliffs over there. 30 feet apart, those soldiers were there. Bullets like rain, they were being fired at us from the other side. They were in bunkers. We had no chance of escaping. Our peasants, even if they come to know, we will be immediately shot at. We were waiting for reinforcements, people to come from backside and to support us. But there was no such gaps. Like we could not wait for such a long time. And then this JCO, he says, I just talked to them. I said, death charge has to be made. Death charge. Death charge is to be present outside in the open when enemy could fire at you. That is like you will have to just be in the open, like it happens in the films you must have seen. Somebody, that hero comes outside and he is being fired from the other side. But then hero always escapes. But here, this real hero, JCO, he was talking of it. He said, I'll make a death charge. And you people will give me a cover of the firing. And then we will capture that bunker which is there, where they are hiding themselves, or they are firing at us. Now this JCO, he just put this proposal, and by the time this young soldier officer, he took a hand grenade from him. He says, forcefully he took it from me and he ran. Mentioning, my dear sir, you have children. I am still unmarried and death charge will be made by me. He moved in the open. He was fired at. He ran towards that bunker and then removed the pin of that grenade and threw it at that bunker. Bunker was completely destroyed. 13 casualties by one single person. They were done. And he was the Captain Vikram Batra, Paramveer Chakra winner. He was the father of Captain Vikram Batra. And then he says it is his bravery that brought victory to us. And we captured that bunker and we were all there. And thank you for all of you to be here to celebrate and pay our tributes to all those soldiers, those who laid their lives or those who fought for this country, that we are there to remember them. They are the real ideals of somebody, if somebody can have. They are the real hero of somebody, if somebody can worship them. Thank you all. Now I'll request Sri Rajesh Kedia ji to have wreath laying ceremony. You can all stand up, be erect, straight, cool. Savdhan. Visram. Raise your legs. Savdhan. Let stamping also be heard. Visram. Savdhan. And be in this position without any movement. Thank you. And say a few words.
Good morning, students. Respected Principal Sir, Sri Sankalji, Vice Principal Sir, teachers, and my dear students. It's a day of victory and it's a day of bravery for our nation, for our armed forces, for all of us. I greet you on this great day from the core of my heart and congratulate. I just heard Principal Sir gave a pretty elaborate account of the victory in the Kargil war and the heroic deed of our brave soldiers. And as a consequence of which, of their martyrs, of their brave deeds, heroic deeds, that we have this day today, and Pakistan was giving a befitting defeat. For us, it's not just that only the wars are to be fought and only the bravery are relevant in the wars. Bravery are nowadays required at all fronts. We have challenges within the country in form of terrorism and in many other forms which we are seeing every day in one or the other. But we are very proud to have our armed forces giving a very befitting reply, and all the citizens, they are getting aware and getting envisioned to such kind of deeds which the enemy nations are doing on the front. We just see last year China also giving a challenge to us in our eastern border in Ladakh, but with a great heroic act of our armed forces and our government, we were able to push them back into their own territory. Though we again had martyrs, many of our soldiers, they laid their lives, and that was a great heroic deed. So challenges are there every time and we'll have to face it. As Principal Sir rightly said, it's survival of the fittest. So we have to keep it in mind that we have to be fittest, and we have to be fittest in all walks of our